Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to welcome each and every single one of you here to the Osasu Show's mating symposium. I am truly humbled by the individuals cut across all walks of life that I see here today. Your presence is both a valid endorsement and a testimony of your faith in our work and commitment to creating a bridge between our citizens and leaders. We are immensely grateful. Thank you. As a child, I read so many books about great men and women in various fields, from politics to entrepreneurship, to leadership, and even sports. I learned two major lessons from their stories. First is their sacrifice and courage. A great man once said, "Life begins at the end of your comfort zone." I personally found this to be true because I had to give up a seemingly conventional life to venture into one where I could possibly blaze a trail. I also learned that failure is a decision because great people don't fail. They either succeed or learn. We all know the stories of J.K. Rowling and the Harry Potter fame, Thomas Edison and the light bulb invention, or even our dear President, Muhammadu Buhari. The lesson is, if one truly believes in a cause and is passionate enough to pursue it, quitting is never an option. Even at that age, I aspired to be in a position where I could serve humanity. Most importantly, give a voice to the voiceless and the less privileged. That inspiration of mine was what led to my career path as a journalist and ultimately the birth of the Osasu Show. Our mission on the show has always been an unwavering connection of our people and narratives on matters that affect our common destiny as Nigerians, as Africans. You see, I believe that the journalists of any nation are the gatekeepers of her democracy, and whether a nation succeeds or fails greatly depends on the sacrifices her journalists are willing to make. I also know that in my efforts to elicit faithful responses from my guest on the show, I am sometimes hard on them, especially though when it comes to issues affecting the general populace. So let me use this opportunity to thank each and every single one of you who have been on the receiving end of my questions for your patience, your understanding, and your steadfast support. You see, when I began the show, we started off as just a talk show, but we've since graduated to an online television network and a foundation dedicated to connecting people and transforming lives. In 2015, when I began the show, I made a decision to work closely with the internally displaced people to amplify their calls to government officials and well-meaning Nigerians to come to their assistance. Subsequently, in 2016, my crew and I made a decision to march into the heart of the violent situation in Agatu local government area of Benue State during the infamous Headsmen massacre. The chaos and devastation my crew and I witnessed was overwhelming. It was unprecedented, and it left us in so much grief and despair. Our investigative missions have also taken us to southern Kaduna, Goska and Dangoma to be precise, Ogoni Land in Rivers State, Ogbia Federal Constituency in Bayelsa State, Ungogo Local Government in Kano State, amongst other volatile regions both home and abroad. But when we look back at the impact we've made through the show and its foundation, we're encouraged to do even more and take more risk. I can see my dad is not smiling about that. But children have been sent to school. The impoverished lives of women and their families have been changed through direct empowerment. Shelters have been built for the homeless and makeshift classrooms for the IDPs. All this in a span of 2 years. So yes, God has been faithful, and I thank each and every single one of you here for your support. Still, we must and can do more collectively. In the famous words of boxing legend Muhammad Ali, service to others is the rent we pay for our room here on earth. This is why we're here today, to deliberate and devise a means through which we can do more. The theme of today's symposium is the new economy and its impact on less privileged citizens. This gives us an opportunity to discuss some of the prevailing challenges facing Nigerians. You see, the new economy has brought disruption marked by rapid digitization. It represents an emerging vision for a just, sustainable, and democratic future. In Nigeria, we could look at the term new economy from the shocks arising from the prolonged economic recession and its impact on lower income and vulnerable citizens in society. This goes beyond online payment of bills and selling of products on the internet to engaging with the intangible world of business as a whole. The government has put in place social safety nets to cater to the unemployed through state-run schemes. But the question remains, is this enough for the emerging new economy? How sustainable is this in the long run? Are there better ways of engaging the unemployed populace? These and many more questions will form part of our panel discussions today. Our aim is to create a common framework that would guide our policy and lawmakers in decision making. But I'll let the keynote speaker talk to us about that in more details. Finally, I would be failing in my duty as a patriotic Nigerian if I do not use this very opportunity to call for much needed national unity. You see, I understand that emotions are high in several parts of the country and we are treading through very sensitive terrain. But one thing I know for sure about us as a people is that what binds us together far surpasses that which attempts to divide us. Therefore, let me use this opportunity to appeal to our leaders here present and those watching to keep preaching peace. Keep working in earnest for the unity of our dear nation. To my fellow countrymen and women, I also urge us not to give up on Nigeria. We are in this for better and for worse, in sickness and in health, in recession and in economic bloom. We will remain united until we make Nigeria truly great. In the mantra of FRCN, we are good people. We are a great nation. I wish us all a fruitful deliberation. God bless you all for coming out, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you so much.
I think she deserves a standing ovation.